Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a monster analysis on Xavipit. This is the brand new, very first Mythic Maze monster, so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not this monster is going to be someone that players want to go for. I mean, I think given the fact that he's just a Mythic monster, you're going to want to go for him, but like how much effort do you want to actually put into this maze? So let's see what it says. He is a water attacker. Oh, that's interesting. Normally water monsters are deniers, so the fact that SocialPoint is introducing a Mythic water attacker first, very interesting. But to be fair, all the Mythic monsters right now are kind of being used as attackers, with lots of tortures like drown, nightmares, bleed, poison, or quicksand. Oh, that is a lot of torture. That is a ton of torture, which makes him perfect for enemies with higher life. With some of his skills, he gains extra turns, so he can go on and on. Do we already have a Voltic Mythic? What? Xavipit has an evolving trait. At rank 1, he's hardened. Oh, sorry, at rank 0, he's hardened. Rank 1, he gains immunity to freeze. And at rank 3, he becomes status caster, protecting his trait at the start of the battle. He already has trait protection? Wow! At rank 3. Okay, let's scroll all the way up and see his lore. So yes, he is going to be in the Fountain of Plenty, Maze Island. Alright, Ingenica was the greatest engineer that Monster Legends had ever seen, but she had one frustration. She had always dreamed of making an artifact that had impressive battle skills but also a good soul. But you can't just design or craft a soul in a workshop. Okay, wait, he's not going to be an artifact monster, right? It's just trait protection. She had abandoned the dream years ago, but when she was given a piece of Mythic Amber, she knew exactly what to do with it. She put it in the core of a mechanical body and said, "Please come alive, please show your soul," and it worked. The minute the artifact opened its eyes, Ingenica knew it had a soul. She put a hand on his cold face and said, "You're not an artifact. Ah, you're a monster like me. What's your name?" "Xavipit," it replied. Ingenica thought it was kind of a strange name, but said she was too moved to ruin the moment, asking questions about it. Ingenica spent a lot of time observing Xavipit. It was an outstanding being. Its battle skills were amazing, almost a bit scary, and outside the battlefield, the monster was engineering in its own right. It helped her order her workshop and thoughts. He was able to outline her projects and come up with cutting-edge technology thanks to it. And then one day, Xavipit asked her, "What should we do today?" "Oh, you've never asked me that." You just know," replied Ingenica, confused. She stood there for a couple of seconds and she realized that the wonderful soul had improved her life in so many ways that there was nothing else it could do for her. She knew it was time to say goodbye and let her go out into the world to help other monsters like it had helped her. Now Xavipit is ready to make the entire universe a better place and maybe shake up the battlefield too. It's funny because the Monster Legends lore makes it sound like this is such a helpful, supportive monster, and then the last sentence is like, "Alright, shake up the battlefield," because he's a water attacker. I feel like he could have been a support monster, a water support monster, just based on the Monster Legends lore. I think that's more fitting than an attacker because none of this is indicative of attacking. But nonetheless, let's see. This monster has a life stat of 57,907. Now, in terms of the current Mythic monster release, there's only 6 of them. This is the second lowest, tied actually with RUML, so I guess tied for 4th place? The only monster that has a lower life stat would be Froma currently. In terms of power stat, 5544, this is actually the 4th highest as well, so kind of the same thing. And then in terms of speed stat, this is actually a pretty slow speed stat. The only monster slower than Xavipit would be Armorclaw, who has a speed stat of 4576. So 4664, the second slowest Mythic monster currently in the game, but compared to legendary monsters, still insanely fast. And we already talked about the trait. Hardened when it's unranked, immunity to freeze at rank 1, and trait protection status caster at rank 2, which I gotta say is pretty impressive, right? It could definitely help. I was trying to think like how useful would this be, and I was trying to think of Warmaster Thalassa. If this monster faces Warmaster Thalassa, I'm like, oh cool, at least you can't get your trait disabled, but that's not true because Thalassa can actually remove positive effects then trait disable you, so your trait protection kind of becomes not that useful. So I just thought I would put that in there. In terms of relics, this monster can hold an armor and a banner. So armor can just obviously increase like survivability of this monster. Armor, you have access to Ingvar's banner, charging banner. So you don't have to worry about stamina. You don't have to worry about life really. Oh my gosh, I am just looking at the damage output and I see a lot of zeros. So now I'm confused. I thought this monster was an attacker. Wait, what? Is a water attacker with lots of tortures. Okay, this is confusing. All right. I'm sorry, I got off track when I saw that, because this is when I do these analysis. Sometimes I look at them beforehand, but this time I'm like, I want to see these Mythic monsters and give like a first reaction to them. Yeah, but with the banner, if you have charging banner, it can give them more life, and then the stamina, of course. So books wise, this monster is a mechanical monster, adventure monster, and a good legion monster. And let's talk about some of the skills. So one of his only skill that actually deals damage is this skill right here, which deals moderate water damage and applies bleed. 30 damage, no cooldown, 30 stamina cost. So at least it's spammable. Even if you get hit with CDA, you can do something, but it's only 30 damage. The next skill we have is One Step Ahead. Applies nature weakness to one enemy, applies earth weakness to one enemy, gives 1 extra turn to itself. So here's the extra turn skill. 3 turn cooldown, 40 stamina cost. So nature weakness and earth weakness. Okay, so nature earth, keep that in mind. Let's talk about tier 2 skills. We have Let Me Focus. Applies torture immunity to one ally, applies precision to one ally. I don't think this is really a skill you're going to be utilizing much. This seems kind of weird, kind of thrown in there, considering this monster is not supportive again. He's supposed to be an attacker. We have Liquid MNLOPS 19. Applies poison to all enemies, applies nightmares to all enemies, requires cooldown. So a team or an AoE poison nightmares, that's okay. That's not really that great of a skill. Catch the Wave applies drown to an enemy, gives 1 extra turn to itself. So you can drown an immediate extra turn. So we have 2 extra turn skills. Okay, and both of the 3 turn cooldown, so no cycling. And then we have applies quicksand to enemies, applies bleed. Okay, definitely a better AoE skill for sure. If you're just going AoE, a better torture skill. If you're just going after torture, you definitely want to do the single drown and then the AoE quicksand and bleed. But that's kind of it. Oh wow. Democracy is overrated, removes positive effects from all enemies, deals very heavy water damage to enemies, applies drowned. The ultimate is a good attack. Everything else, I gotta say, not really a huge fan of it. In terms of giving this monster strength and actually being an attacker, all you really have is your tier 1 30 damage skill. That's it. Everything else is torture. And with the current meta right now, with the current monster you're facing, you're still going to face Megaton monsters, you're still going to face dodge area monsters. The fact that he has a lot of AoEs, they kind of don't really help, right? Imagine fighting 2 dodge area monsters and your AoE quicksand and bleed only targets 1. Your drowned, well, I guess that one works. Your poison nightmares, it only hits 1 monster. The torture immunity and precision to an ally, man, I have other monsters that can give me team torture immunity, team precision. So of all the mythic monsters, I would say this one does not impress me. Yeah, this one is underwhelming for sure. So he's going to be the maze monster. If you wanted to, you could probably not put so much effort in the maze. I would say maybe just get enough, just get him in like the limited edition pathway. I'm assuming SocialPoint is still going to be doing that. So, and that'll probably be out 2 days after the maze starts. So if the maze starts on Saturday, you can expect it on Monday, the limited edition pathway. So I would use Saturday and Sunday to just get a bunch of maze coins. Yeah, but yeah, definitely underwhelming from the mythic monster we've seen so far. I would say the most underwhelming. Those are his traits when he's fully maxed out: 8,056 speed, 13,104 power, 162,384 life stat. But let me just think, how would I, if I got this monster, how would I rune him? He'd probably be my team speed holder, to be honest. He wouldn't be an attacker. I wouldn't want him to run strength, considering he can only single target, and I don't want to rely on torture when I can do other allies. And maybe the idea is once more mythic monsters are released with their huge life stat, you want to use torture, but for now it's like, no, I could kind of do without it. So maybe in the future, when you compare him just to mythic monsters, I can kind of see him working out a little better. But right now, in a world of legendaries and mythics clashing together, I just don't really see him being that useful of a monster. Yeah, deals moderate water damage, 30 damage. You're right, you could use Armor Claw, who's a tank, and deal more damage with that. You can use actual attackers like the race monster, or the one if you purchased it. Single torture immunity, maybe if that was a teammate torture immunity, I don't know. I think if the status caster trade protection would have been like a permanent trade protection, then there would have been more reasons to use this monster, because you're at least like, hey, at least you can't get frozen, so I guess you're at the last encounter, and then you can kind of go from there. You have a few extra turn skills to utilize. Those extra turn skills, they make them very susceptible to fighting anticipation monsters, and it's not like it's worth it, right? Because there are some monsters that have extra turn skills where, hey, even if the enemy gets an extra turn, it kind of makes up for it. With this monster, all you're really doing is, hey, here's a drown, or hey, here's a nature and earth weakness, which is very, very strange considering you yourself don't have any earth or nature attacks. So I guess it would only really benefit you if you had allies that were earth and nature. So I would honestly say, if you're watching this video as soon as the maze is just being released, and you just had an exhaustive 7 days racing with your team to get the previous race mythic monster, if you want to take a little break and not put so much effort to it, again, I would say the first few 2 days or so, to get as many maze coins as possible, Saturday and Sunday. You know, take advantage of any maze coin opportunities out there. If there's a monster wood event, if there's a dungeon, get those maze coins so you can participate in the limited edition pathway. Just get enough to get one copy of the monster, if anything, just for collection purposes. But I don't really think this is a monster that's going to be used too much compared to the other mythic monsters currently released. Anyhow, with that being said, this has been a monster analysis on Xavipit. If you guys disagree and you want to know, and you guys think there's a better way to actually utilize this monster, maybe I missed something, let me know in the comments below. With that being said, that is going to be it for this analysis. Once again, thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you all next time.